Hello, in this series of videos I'm going to show you how to colorize line art. By that I mean taking black and white line work, bringing it into Photoshop, and then doing a series of procedures so you can paint underneath the line work. And it'll make sense as we go along. And so there's a lot of new stuff you'll be learning here, including how to use clipping masks and layers to colorize your line work. So there's a lot of things, really cool stuff that you're going to learn here with this exercise. Okay, so first of all, if you're my student, I gave you this image, this leopard GIF image. And if you're just in other parts of the world and following along, you can find any other black and white image and it'll work. So anyway, got leopard. Oh, I made for my students, make a folder, right? And right click on the image I gave you and open with Adobe Photoshop. And here it is. And if we look at, if we go to image size, very low res, very small. And there's another issue here too. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can look at it. So anyway, this is very pixelated, and if we printed it out, it would look really junky, and fuzzy and everything else. So we have to increase the size and all this other stuff. Now, I did this on purpose. So check this out. It's locked. The layer is locked. So we try to click it and it won't unlock. And then we panic and start crying and what's going on. And also there's several tools we cannot use with this, or we can't really adjust this. So if you click on image mode, you'll see that it's indexed color, which greatly restricts how much editing you can do on this. So it's real simple. So the first thing, if you're in my class, click on RGB color, and now we can unlock this, and now we can start working on it. So the first thing we have to do is create a high contrast image. And if we look at this, you see, even though this came off the internet, the background's kind of gray, and the line work is a little bit gray and fuzzy in some places. We want to increase the contrast of this so it's very starkly black and white. So to do that, first of all, let's stay organized here. Let's just, for the heck of it, let's call this scan. Okay, let's just pretend we scanned this in, that it's our line work or whatever. Okay, to increase the contrast, hover over the adjustment layer icon and choose levels. And you can see this histogram looks weird and a lot of spaces in it. It's because it's a low res image. Anyway, so what we got to do is, if you look at the background, try to get the background as white as possible, but still keep all the lines. So let's point out something like right here. The background's kind of grayish, and this line work is kind of grayish. So we got to make sure that we don't mess up our line work, but increase the contrast. So let's come over here, grab the slider on the far right, pull it to the left, and I'll back up so you can see. So if I pull it too far to the left, see how the background, the mountains in the background disappear? Well, that's not good. So pull it as far to the left as you can without losing any of the line work. Then go to the very far left slider and pull that slider to the right. And here's what you want to do. You want to get it looking like dark, but you don't want to do that. All right, you don't want it heavily pixelated. So I'll give you the again, if you're my student, I'll give you the values that I've used here that you can kind of follow along with. And the midtones, that's kind of cool. I can just adjust it. But anyway, so let me zoom in on my settings here. I could make it a little bit whiter, I think. Okay, so 61.87234. That's what I'm using for mine. All right. Now here's the tricky part. Click, hold, and drag the scan layer and make a copy of it, because we want to preserve this original. You know, in case we mess stuff up, we can always go back to it. Hold down Shift, click on Levels 1, and then Command or Control E to merge these layers, or you can click on the three lines, and I never use this. I always use the shortcut, and you can choose Merge Layers. Okay, but I always use Command E or Control E. All right, so now call this high contrast, just so we don't get confused. And then we can deselect the eyeball on the scan layer. Okay, you can even lock it if you want to. You can select it and lock it just if you want to. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now we have this high contrast layer, and now we can go to image size, and then we'll increase this resolution to 300 and click OK, and it'll get really humongous. On the for Photoshop, if you do a Command or Control 0, you can move it in. Now, just by changing that number, that resolution to 300 did not magically improve this. If we printed it out, it would still be fuzzy and stuff, you know, so that wasn't like a magic improvement. But the next step we do in the next video, we'll resample this, and you'll see how that works. So this is where you should be at. You should have a high contrast layer that we did, and your image size should look like this. Okay. So we'll see you in the next video, and we'll continue on.